George.
No?
Okay. We want to talk about the predicament of the Commonwealth people, most especially the Nigerians, who are victims of United Kingdom legislative confraternity. So you said you wanted to ask me a question. So let's start. And what are we talking about?
Yeah, I want to ask you that. We know that you actually decided for the condition of confraternity now comes. Does that come in?
Well, first of all, we are aware. Listen to the Rivers of Blood speech by Enoch Powell, the mentoring father that actually powered the ruling conservative government to continue their hate crimes upon the colored people. When I sat down to look at the system, to look at the atrocity, to look at the law, I saw that the colored people, they actually do not have a life, in the sense that when injustice is chartered as a law, the voice of justice is silent. There's a system, there's a court of the land that is an independent institution that is supposed to be different from the politics affair. So when you charter injustice as a law to make the voice of justice to be silent, that is called legislative confraternity. So when the white man wants to kill you silently, they make a law. So the law is chartered. They make a law that is an injustice law that is called alien law. It is chartered as a bill. It is chartered as an act. So if, for example, they say, we are going to kill a man, put a man to death for 30, put a man to die. A man carries a drug. You say the man is going to die for carrying drug. What is drug? 500 years ago, cocaine got royal assent. Cocaine was dignified. Cocaine was called wonder drug. Everybody dignified cocaine. The kings and the prince dignified cocaine. How do you sentence a man to death for carrying cocaine? Coca-Cola name originated from cocaine. Coca-Cola had 60% caffeine, cocaine in it. So in the early 90s, even Sigmund Freud, who was one of the big acts in those days, dignified cocaine. He told everybody to take cocaine, that cocaine was good as a drug. But the only thing is that he later realized in his memoir that the more cocaine you take, the more it becomes abusive to the body. And most of his friends who he had mentored into them enjoying this wonder drug, they all later died because they became an addict. Now, if cocaine 500 years ago, 400 years ago, 300 years ago got royal assent, so in the early 19th century, some legislation, some governments, some ordinary men who were voted into the seat of power felt, you know what, let us threaten the people. Let us scare them so that nobody takes cocaine, since cocaine is becoming an abusive drug. So cocaine was now legislated as a law. Now, when you make law, the only reason a criminal is not a criminal. The government decide what is regarded as good and what is regarded as bad. So they want to scare the people. So they make a law. So when they make a law, what will make you put a man to death when you cannot create a finger? So the only reason for making a law to be very harsh is because they want to scare people not to do the acts that they see as bad. So they made that when people sell drugs, they sentence them to prison for like 20, 30, sell their property. But that is legislative confraternity, because if cocaine got royal assent 500 years ago, the queen, the princess dignified it, why we want government, one conventional government of this era that had not lived in the mythology that made government to be what it is, decide to kill people or send people to jail for 20 years because they sell cocaine? That is legislative confraternity. So the problem is that they felt that, how do we scare the people? Now, if you look at cocaine as a drug, some pharmaceutical companies are using cocaine. They use cocaine to do anesthetic. They use cocaine to do most of these medicines. When people go for operation, they inject them, they are alive, they are doing operation on their brain. That is cocaine. So why is it that some government officials can use cocaine and the ordinary man cannot use cocaine? Now, if the ordinary man use cocaine, what is the offense of the ordinary man that will make you sentence the man to prison for 30 years for selling cocaine? So they make these alien laws. So when you scare the people and you put them to death, and you make laws that is seen as atrocity, but because this politics of this era does not have ideology, the children of this era that run politics, they are all illiterate. So they make laws to threaten the people they govern. So when you make a law that is an alien law, because you want to enforce it as a mandate, you enforce it through legislative confraternity, and that is the problem. Okay, that is why. So any law that makes no sense, and the people of this of the country or the nation or the society buys into insanity, it becomes a legislative confraternity. Legislative confraternity simply means that when you put a man to death, what will make you put a man to death? Who decide which man dies and which man live? What is a man offense that will make a government decide to kill a man? It's legislative it's an court, and that's what it is. So legislative confraternity means when injustice is chartered as a law, the voice of justice is silent, and that is legislative confraternity. It is done in an administrative way, whereby the system makes a law, the court is part of it. So when you go to court is advocate of truth. Some courts are not fit to exist. Legislative confraternity simply means that when you put a man to death, what will make you put a man to death? Who decide which man dies and which man live? What is a man offense that will make a government decide to kill a man? It's legislative it's an court, and that's what it is. So legislative confraternity means when injustice is chartered as a law, the voice of justice is silent, and that is legislative confraternity. It is done in an administrative way, whereby the system makes a law, the court is part of it. So when you go to court is advocate of truth. Some courts are not fit to exist. Immigration law, there's nothing like immigration law. Immigration law is a sham legislation. If you tell me immigration law, every man needs permission to cross the border of every man, then we go back to mythology. Who gave British government, British Empire visa to go to Africa? Who gave British government visa to go to America? Who gave British government visa to go to South Africa? You are telling me that immigration law is enforceable. Then who gave you visa as a colonial master to go to South Africa and force them to be their master? You did not only go there, you sent your armies, brigadiers, to go and conquer their land. Even in conquering their land, you killed them. You threw apocalypse of Judaism to their land. You scattered them. You destroyed the mythology their father built 5,000 years ago. Then you bring them together and say you love them and rebuild your own world for them. Then you become their master. How did United Kingdom get visa to go to Africa? All the countries in Africa they call Commonwealth today, who gave them visa to go there? They didn't give them. Nobody gave them visa. They went into those territories, they forced them, they killed them, they destroyed their land, they destroyed their heritage, they killed their father, they even exiled their king. How dare they? The Oba of Benin in Nigeria was taken away from his throne and exiled out of Africa. How dare they come to your land, take your king, exile your king? They even deported your king out of his own country. These boys, these British boys, their forefathers have committed so much atrocity. And I think common sense should reign. And that is what it is. So when they want to continue to control the people they govern, they bring terror laws. They become tyrants. They fear no retribution. They become untouchable. They create laws to kill a man. A law that kills a man is hinged from legislative confraternity. The lawyers and the people of the world should know it today. Anything that destroys a man is legalized despotism. Legalized despotism is legislative confraternity. And that is a bit of that. Let's go to the next question.
Right now is asking them. We know that the Catholic state, I think, for humanity, particular people there in UK. We want to ask you right now that what is the current phase of the struggle? You know, going by the success you achieved so far, what is the phase of the struggle of the movement? What is the next phase of the movement?
Well, the beautiful thing about the next stage of the struggle is that for the first time, I am the universal teacher that teaches universal knowledge that was never taught in any school. You see, the colored people have been, like I always blame God for creation. The colored people are prey, and the white man is a predator. Like the lion and the goat. The lion is the king of the jungle. He eats any animal he wants to eat. But for the first time, the human has a bigger brain. So the conscience of guilt is setting in. Now, all I want to say first of all is to call the government of the white people to realize that the kings from the thrones and their spirits are now fighting for freedom for the colored people. Every servant will one day become a master. The blacks have slaved for more than 3,000 years. And I think it is time they need to go. The white man can no longer use legislative confraternity to hold them down. Most of the colored brothers are currently in a mental hospital. The white man creates two organs of legislative confraternity. The first organ is prison. The prison simply means when you do what they don't want, they send you to prison, because once it is chartered as a law, there's what is called the do's and don'ts. So when you do the don't, they call you a criminal. You are not actually a criminal. You have only done what you feel that as a man, when the system cannot look after your affair, you do the things that a man should do. But because it is chartered as a law, it seems as you must not do it, then you are called a criminal. So you are sent to prison. Now, most of the colored people, the black nation, the Nigerians, many has been fighting legislative confraternity. The only problem is that they are a voice in the wilderness. Now, what the white man did is they created what is called the Mental Health Act. Mental Health Act 1983 is the most monstrous law. Any black man who decides to fight prime minister, who decides to fight an abusive system, these black people are sent to the mental hospital. So the Mental Health Act is a sham legislation. That is the law that has killed the future of the black. That law has been set up since 1983. Any black man who challenges a white man, any black man who has already settled in the land of the whites, having children, having half cars, the white man knows they cannot get them out. So they send police to their house. When police go to their house and police wants to torment them and they want to fight back, the police will section them. The word is called section. The police section them and send them to mental hospital. The doctors in the mental hospital begins to inject them. There are two current professions that is reigning in the United Kingdom. The solicitors, who are all migrants coming here because they are hungry. They come here and get a job. They call themselves solicitor, but they're actually puppets. All they do is to sing the immigration law, that is the legislative confraternity. They continue to preach the gospel of United Kingdom Home Office, telling the blacks what they are not able to do, and forcing them to get married using the Marriage Act of Residence. So when a black man leaves Africa and come here, he already has a wife, children, and family in Africa. But when they come here to work as slave, they do all the odd jobs. If they are not cleaners, they are security personnel. If they are not working as security, they are working as carer, cleaning the white man's bumbo, carrying the white man, cleaning their feces, bathing them. Those are the three jobs for the colored people. If it's not security, it is cleaning. If it's not cleaning, it is care work. They care for the old white people. So the white people chartered them into those business because their people will not do those jobs. Now, when they work so hard and they make their earnings and they want to go back to Africa, the white man becomes so jealous that the white man begins to think that they are not taking away the little money they've worked out of hard job. The white man become angry that they are going to take this, money back to Africa. Guess what the white man does? The white man creates a scheme which is called the Marriage Act of Residence. The Marriage Act of Residence scheme, what it does is that they make you get married, have wives, they make you marry their children and make babies. The only reason for making you marry their children is so that the money you have saved, you are not able to take it out of their country again. So you come in as a migrant thinking you have come to work, being a slave, to take money back to your beloved African nation, to go and build your future. But when you come here, the same system introduces you into what is called the Marriage Act of Residence, which is a confraternity. So if you don't marry their wife and children, they will not let you stay. And the day you marry their wife and children, it becomes an entrapment. You are not able to go back to your country because you become indebted. You're not able to take your money back. The woman, you begin to bear children for the woman, begin to bear children for you, and then you're not able to go back, and your life is useless. And at the end of 5-7 years, the woman kick you out of the house. You are useless on the street. So the Marriage Act of Residence is a confraternity. Blacks do not need to be married when they come here. They already have a family. They're only here to work as slaves and go back. Upon their hard work as security servants, slaves, cleaner, carer, you are still not happy. The little money they've earned, you force them into an oath of Marriage Act of Residence, kill their future. Okay, now the other issue which I actually want to talk about is our colored brothers. You see, the injustice that has been happening to a lot of black brothers have been fighting it, but for the first time they've been locked out for life. Many of our black brothers, out of 100%, 60% are in a mental hospital. There are two trades that is reigning in this country. Is either immigration, solicitor, or psychiatric doctors. Now, when the white man sees that they cannot send the black man to prison because the black man has decided to challenge their legislative confraternity, guess what they do? They send them to mental hospital. They made a law which is called the Mental Health Act 1983. That law is so bad. The country, for the first time, I defined the law for them. If you go and watch immigration law, if you go and watch a digest of Mental Health Act, I was able to teach the universal education of mental illness. These people, they chartered mental illness as a law. We know that the African country where we come from, madness is nakedness and eating from the dustbin. This white man, in their illicit and illusional grandiosity, they chartered the Mental Health Act as a law. Guess how it works, Mr. George? You walk on the street of United Kingdom, a policeman approaches you, try to abuse your rights, and you want to fight him back and say, officer, get off my back. Guess what happened? The officer has a power to section you on the streets and takes you to the mental hospital. As they take you to the mental hospital, 2 doctors are waiting there to take you on board. The doctors know you are not mad. The officers knows you are not mad. They see you as aggressive. The African man is designed with aggression traits. They don't like to be cheated upon. They take you through the corridors of the hospital called psychiatric hospital, and the doctors begin to inject you. And for the doctors to partake in their legislative confraternity, do you know how much they pay for a bed? To keep you in the mental hospital, the government pays the hospital £500 a night for a bed. That is about $750 to keep you in a mental hospital. The government of United Kingdom pays the psychiatric doctor $700 a night. A lot of our colored brothers have been there for 20 years. They've been there for 15 years. They've been there for 18 years. Some has become vegetable. The government of this country, the psychiatric hospital is called the dungeon of hell. Our black brothers and black sisters, that is the latest job in town. Every person right now trains to be a psychiatric nurse. Every person trains to be a mental health social worker. That is the reigning profession. They even threaten you. When they lock you up for life, you cannot come out. No court of the land will get you. They even have a mediocrity court. They call it immigration tribunal. When you apply for tribunal, the doctor will say you are not well enough. All our colored brothers are in psychiatric hospital. I'm going to be demanding the Queen to order the immediate release of all our black brothers, black sisters, and colored family. They are not mad. Since the Queen government is threatened by the aggression of the black people fighting for their rights, their legitimate rights, and that is a problem for conservative governments. That made them to charter mental health act as a law, where every black man that fights them, they call the black man mad, rather than the kingdom of United Kingdom deceiving themselves, paying the psychiatric doctor $700 or £500 a night to keep a black man in mental hospital who is not mad. I believe the right thing the Queen should do is to count $700 or £500 every day for the next 3 years. Can you imagine the government of this country has gone mad? That is what they pay psychiatric doctors to keep a black man in a mental hospital for one person. So all the budget of this country, they pay to the psychiatric doctor who will assist them in executing their legislative confraternity. So because of that money, the hospital will keep them there and refuse to release them. So they make the doctors to get rich. All our government, all the government of the Commonwealth nation, they should ask the United Kingdom to release the statistics of all the Nigerians in a psychiatric hospital. They should tell the government of United Kingdom to release all the South Africans in the mental health hospital. The Ghanaian government should tell the United Kingdom government to release all the Ghanaian citizens in psychiatric hospital. 90% of every Nigeria in a mental hospital, they are not mad, but because this government has orchestrated legislative confraternity to continue to kill the voice of the black struggle. I have a doctor, his name is called Dr. Sergei Grachev. Sergei Grachev is a lunatic psychiatric doctor that migrated from Russia. He runs a psychiatric hospital in Bracton. The Bracton hospital is in Kent. He proudly told me, do you know how much is the bed? The bed goes for £500 a night. I could not believe. 2008, I was told, do you know how much is the bed? The bed goes for £350 a night. This is where the government invests all their pieces of paper money they print from the printing machine. Because human has no brain, they are worshipping money. They bribe them this money and they kill the future of the black man. So the only reason why United Kingdom do not have a civil rights organization, because it's a white man's land. Civil rights is only existing in America and in South Africa because that land does not belong to the white man. But because this is their land, they know all the occultism of the ancient rights and they pretend it is conventionality. They can no longer destroy the future of the black people. What I am expecting Parliament to do right now is to reverse the Mental Health Act of 1983. No man has the power to section another man. It's an abuse of the law of Magna Carta. No man has the right to deny another man his free will liberty to be free. It's an abuse of the law of Magna Carta. Every black Nigerian brother, sister, children in a mental hospital, all the money the government is paying the doctors, the people of Nigeria should come and take their children with them. You don't useless them and get the psychiatric doctor to lock them out for life. They should now go back to their country. Every psychiatric hospital should start preparing the list of the mental health patients. They are not mad. They were never mad, but because it is legislative confraternity, they set them up to make them mad. The Queen should know this has come to an end. Mental Health Act 1983 has to be abolished. Mental Health Act 1983 has to be put to rest. The truth has unveiled. Come Commonwealth citizens doom and rebirth has told the story. No black man. And the funny thing, the doctors that put them in mental hospital are either Asia, Russia. You cannot even believe the atrocity. And the sad thing, it is the black brothers in the psychiatric hospital that is holding them down to inject them. They will come and say to them, medication time. When the black man says, I don't want a medication, they will praise the alarm. 10 men will come and hold an able man down and inject them with this their chemical drug. If you see some of the black brothers, they are on the street like zombies, shaking like vegetable. They have destroyed their field. Everybody is afraid. If you as the husband to the woman wants to fight, the wife will also be put in a mental hospital. And when they put you in a mental, they say it's a law. Until a doctor pities you and say, you know what, I let you go. That's the only way you can be free. The psychiatric patient have no right in this country. That is what the UK border agency has been using. When they see a black lawyer fighting them, they will go and send psychiatric doctor to the black lawyer's house. They will go and send psychiatric doctor to the black lawyer's house. It's sad, my dear. It's sad. It's sad, my dear. It's sad. It's sad, my dear. It's sad.